Alright, you guys, I'm just setting up because this is a surprise live. I didn't plan on doing this. I have no idea what we're talking about, but we're talking about stuff today. I haven't done a video in a minute, and I will tell you why. So just give me a moment while I set up. Don't worry. I know that you weren't invited because I didn't tell anybody. So I'm just here doing my thing. If I get nobody, I get nobody. I'm gonna pull it up though. It has been an interesting last couple of days. Welcome, lovely budgets. How's it going? I think you and me, we're the only ones in here. I didn't tell anybody about this. Budgeting without limits. Hey! Casey, how's it going? Diva budgeting. Good morning, good morning. Yeah, I didn't tell anybody about this, just so you're aware. Cody, how's it going? Good morning. It's been a couple days since I've made a video, and I'll explain why here in a minute. But I wanted to give everybody a chance. Good morning. Lots of people are rolling in. So, I haven't done a video in a few days, and that's because I have been working on my other channel. If you do not know, I changed my cooking channel to a gig working, side hustling channel. I will actually link it with the computer here. But we're going on 2 years of being on YouTube. I cannot believe that that's happening. I can't believe it. It's almost like it's unreal. It's been a long journey. All right. So, come on. Okay, because I'm computer illiterate, I finally got the link. There's the link to the new channel. If you haven't subscribed to that and you're interested in seeing what a day in a life is like for me, please go ahead and check that out. I have been gig working for over 5 years now. I just realized I started Instacart, went to DoorDash, then I started with Uber Eats, and I realized when I got Uber Eats that I was like, why does it say Uber Drive? Or Uber X, can't remember. I think it was Drive back then. And then I got Lyft, and I started picking up people. So it's been a very... Hi Wendy, how's it going? It's been a very long trip through trying to figure out what works for me. I will say this, I am really ecstatic because I have a video coming out, you guys, that nobody wants to miss. Nobody wants to miss this, okay? These are nitty-gritty questions everybody asks. These are questions that I have not answered. These are questions that I'm like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe I'm sharing this. So I have been talking to my husband, Jordan, about this, and he's like, you know what? I think it's time. And I was like, time for what? He's like, it's time to just talk about it all. I will say this. Thank you, Wendy. I appreciate you. Hey, Diane. How's it going? I'm so blessed to have everybody in this community be a part of my little journey. I'm actually going to turn this other light on. By the way, if you do not know, I record all of my videos from a Cracker Jack box of a room. This is considered a third bedroom. It's big enough to fit a bed. I don't know about anything else, but a bed. My oldest kid would have this room, but he doesn't want it. So I'm like, okay. It became the lizard reptile room. So that's what's going on. Show my face, show my face. Not today. This is a live. Show my face. No. I'm good. I'm good. We're not showing my face today. First of all, this setup is not meant to show my face. I'd have to stop the live, redo the live, and I don't want to do that. I'll tell you this, my recording equipment does not really fit in this room very well. Not at all. So, you may not know this, but yeah, I know he's a troll. It's okay. Welcome, troll. If you're a troll, I don't know. I assume you're a troll. But anyway, I don't know what the big thing is about showing your face and why it's so darn important to some people, but it is. Am I gonna ever show my face? I can't tell you. Can't tell you if that's happening. The weird part about YouTube is this. When you show your face, you're now going to be heavily judged. And I'm already heavily judged. I get some nasty comments sometimes, you guys, and you know what? It doesn't bother me. If it bothered me, I wouldn't continue to make videos. I wouldn't be on YouTube. I wouldn't be doing Instagram. I wouldn't be posting TikTok. I wouldn't be doing any of that stuff. So I don't want anybody to think that I'm sitting here boo-hooing about it, because I don't really care. To me, it is part of what I do. It's part of what content creators do. I get people who are like, why don't you go fly a kite today? And not so nice words. But you know, it is what it is. Well, I'm sorry if people thought you were a troll. Dan Pro Games. I just know this. YouTube's a weird place. YouTube is a weird place. It is what it is. Okay? But in this weird place, I've been here for 2 years. What have I been doing here? I have no idea. Glenda, by the way, I did see your video. I don't know if you saw my comment, but I did leave you a comment. Thank you so much for the shout out. I appreciate you. I actually really like seeing people send you food. I don't know what it is, but to me it's just like, oh, that was really sweet. I really want, one day I want to be able to do that. I wish I had the income to do it. I really do. I won't show my face because I keep money in my home. I mean, that's another thing, okay? It's a safety thing. When you are going to show your face onto the internet, you guys, it's forever, okay? So, I do cash stuffing here. I don't directly tell you where I live. I'm just letting you know my P.O. box is an hour away from my home. Okay, I don't have my address, my real address on anything. I don't know what's going on, but anyway. You know, it's true. People, like you said, Glenda, there are people out there that restore your thoughts of what mankind is like. People like Diane, Mandy, Jamie. I talked to Janelle. I have met a lot of really awesome people doing this channel, doing what I do. It has not been perfect, but it is what it is. I am doing a different form of content creation. I will link it again if I can remember how to copy and paste without typing. Okay, there we go. Ta-da! So if you haven't subscribed to my new channel to see what my everyday like is, You really won't know. And honestly, it goes hand in hand with this channel, because even though I'm not going to show you my every single day, I'm not going to show you every Uber, every Lyft, um, every DoorDash, every Uber Eats. I'm showing you guys my real life work, and I'm showing you guys my budgeting on this channel. However, I don't keep all this hanging out. Okay? You're right. It's a safety thing. Safety thing first. You're from Kansas, Sunshine Gibson. From Kansas. Hope everyone had a great week. Keep up with the great videos. Love your videos. Thank you. Yeah, see, I don't want to do copywriting. I don't want to do any of that stuff. We are here to watch video about budgeting. There's no need to show your face. You definitely need to protect yourself and your family. So that's another thing I want to debunk, okay? So I've been asked a multitude of times if I can show my kids on the internet. And I'm going to tell you this right now. That ain't ever going to happen. Ever. Ever, ever. In any circumstance will I ever show them. Yeah, it was hot when I did my first video. Actually, it was the day before yesterday that I did that video, and you guys, it was 100 degrees. It's gonna be 103 today, and Jordan has to drive 4 hours to deliver something for his company to a client, and he is not sure he's wanting to do it. He's not sure he's wanting to do it. I don't blame him. Hey, Crafty Saber, how's it going? Yeah, people say weird stuff on the internet, Diane, about kids, and I don't like that. Not happening. And I already have 2 very sweet but vulnerable little boys. So let me talk about little Piggy. He's 9. He has no idea. He has such a trust in the world, you guys. He's so lonely to make friends sometimes. He doesn't have stranger danger. So he would never be able to be on social media because he would think that you're all his friends. But even though that could be true for 80%, 90% of whomever watches this channel, that other percentage is still there. He really wants to play the games. He wants to do the cash stuffing. He wants his own little he wants his little system, but it's not going to be something I do on here if we ever do it. Anna says, I was surprised how physically demanding a full day would be. So I want to make this clear. I didn't actually show you guys the entirety of what that whole day looked like. Okay, that was just some of the orders I did. There was no way I did that little of orders for almost $200 a day. So I will say the average pay for a DoorDash order in my market is going to be anywhere between $2 base pay with no tip all the way to maybe $13. But I will say the one thing that saved my butt was that shop. That shop really did save my butt. Yeah, it is that 10% of people I do have to worry about. Okay, here's another one, another situation. My oldest, he's 13. He's not stupid in any which way, shape, or form. But he has a lack of socialization in some ways. He does not start a conversation well, and he doesn't end a conversation well. When he wants to be done on the phone, he hangs up. Bye. No bye. No, I love you, Mom. Goodbye. His socialization is pretty much like you and me. He has conversations. Gosh, I feel like I'm gonna sneeze. I'll be right back. Alright, I am not gonna sneeze. Okay, so my oldest kid, he's on the spectrum. He desperately wants friends too. Okay, so many years ago, we were worried about that. Worried about all the things. When you put yourself out there on social media, you're really out there. You don't want your kids to be out on social media. I know a lot of people who have, who I've watched for years, like the Fairly Local vegans that were then the Fairly Local family, that are now Fairly Rooted. Amber does not show her kids on social media as much anymore, and I do appreciate that. I really do. Another thing I did want to mention too is I probably won't ever show my house. Ever. Just because this is my sanctuary, and somebody wanted me to do a walkthrough of the house, and I'm like, I don't really feel comfortable with doing that. Just because I don't want anybody to know where I live, or really anything about my living other than what I feel like showing. So, my great nephew is on the spectrum. He also call and say that he's gone. Love the boy he is. My special man. Yeah. I mean, I love my kid. I mean, I love him dearly, but my God, he would tell you guys, there's a video that he made me. He went on this trip, and there was a diorama of a bigger version of I guess it was made out of cardboard or paper, but it was a Titanic. Okay? And he started this video like he was a YouTuber, and boy, he would get the wrong idea. And I will say this, I don't know, but I think Little Piggy knows that I do YouTube. I think he does. But I don't know for sure. And I kind of mislead him a little bit. My oldest does not know. However, I was just coming on here to do this live because I didn't know what to talk about in my next video, because I don't really have any cash yet. I mean, I do, but I don't. Does that make sense? Like, it's not all here in one spot. However, we didn't add any funds to our major sinking funds. I did put money into retirement. I did put in for long-term savings. I will say this. I finally gained interest on my what is it called? My Roth IRA, my traditional Roth IRA. I don't know why I was forgetting that. That's so stupid. But we have another paycheck coming. This will not have Jordan's paycheck in it. I did want to let everybody know, like, I too get discouraged, and it is very hard out there. Especially when you're side hustling all day long and you're like, oh my gosh, this heat is grueling and I'm not doing as well as I wanted to. When I didn't hit 200 by the end of that day, I was kind of pissed off. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. There is that. Some little health updates. I did want to make sure that I did put these out there because it's very important. I don't know how many people. Oh, we have 39 people in here. Whew. Hello, how's it going? Am I still working at the print shop? Yes. So technically I'm still employed with them, but I'm on a thing called projects. And right now, with the way the economy is going and the fact that this is a very small town, they're not getting as big of projects. And that's essentially what I was hired for anyway. They were looking for somebody to do graphic design and stuff like that. Um, and, you know, it just doesn't make sense for me to be there even as a full-on part-time person. This print shop does a lot of local stuff, but there's only really 2 local areas. So I did mix it into my last month's budget, which was in June. I did make a couple $100s off of a like a wedding ordeal where we made wedding cards, but you know, like it was a pretty big wedding and they needed help with that, and I don't mind going back in to work maybe during the winter time or something like that, but I'm definitely still employed there, if that makes sense. Hi Patrick, how's it going? I do feel like I did well in June. However, I don't know what July is going to look like. I don't know yet. I'm not all the way there yet. I am still very much so, you know, on a low income. My income changes day to day. So I can't just be like, hey, I'm going to throw $500 towards a debt this month. I don't know until we get there. And I don't know if you noticed, but I always try to make sure all my bills are paid first. June was kind of like a magic month for me though, because I just started hitting the ground hard with the picking up people. Hi, how's it going? But I am going to continue. I know it seems really ridiculous, but I am going to continue to share my link to my second channel, because this will explain a little bit more about what I do and how I make this money and why you guys sometimes don't see as much. It will be interesting when I post my 2-year video. My 2-year video should be coming up next. I actually thought about making a gluten-free, dairy-free YouTube cake. But I don't want to give it away. I don't know. Should I do it or not? Oh my god, July is my worst month. All my insurances come out and school fees. Roll on August, right? So in August, I am going to be taking a little bit of time off. I am going to be taking 3 days off to drive to a concert in which my husband's best friend got tickets to. He paid for the tickets. We did not. We just have to pay for gas and probably a hotel, but I don't know. I have family there, you guys. I should just stay with them, but my grandma's 84. I love the fact that Diane has started rideshare. If everybody sees Diane in the feed there, in the chat feed, give her a round of applause. She is now a Uber driver, but she also signed up for Lyft, which is super freaking great. I will say Uber is weird. It's weird, man. It's just weird. I get some of the weirdest people. Oh, I have to tell you guys a story while we're here. So, the year before last, when I started picking up people, I thought to myself, you know, Amanda, like, there was a time where I was working fast food. I was living in a travel trailer, off-grid, no electricity, no water. So basically, glorified homelessness. You know, didn't have an address on the property, any of that stuff, because there was no permit, because there was no house, okay? I was trying to buy this property, and I thought to myself, I'm going to try to make some real money. Real money, like not shitty money. not $13 an hour, not $11 an hour. I think I was making $11.25 at that time. And I actually did cab work. I rented a cab for the day from a company. I was working under the company. I gave them a percentage of my daily income, and I was bringing home money every single day. And honestly, you guys, I've seen some weird stuff. Doing that job made me realize that I was a lot tougher than I gave myself credit for. So then when I started doing Uber, I was like, you know what? It'll be fine. I didn't have any really weird people because I only drive during the day. I don't drive a lot of nights unless it's a concert or unless I absolutely have to. I'm not the best night driver, okay? I don't want to be out on the road at night anyway. Okay, I'm just going to put it out there. I'm like not even 5 feet tall, and I'm a little gal. I could probably mess somebody up, I'll tell you that. But that's not what I'm getting at. What I'm getting at is I've had some really weird riders. One guy I picked up, I kid you not, you guys, at a Walmart. And I said, you know, what's your name? You know, where are you going? And he was dressed like he was going camping, but he was beyond filthy dirty. And I thought, you know, I'm not going to judge this guy. I'm kind of homeless and, you know, or kind of been homeless, you know, like at the time I wasn't homeless. It was actually in my apartment. But I was like, I know, it wasn't that long ago that I had to deal with these things. And, you guys, he gets in the car, and I notice something's wrong with his head. And he turns to the side, and he gets in, and he's got this tent, this tiny tent in this little wrapped up looking thing, and it's got a bag over it. And he's like, telling me where he wants to go. And it's this park. And I'm thinking, well, maybe I just picked up a dude who's going to be sleeping in a park. His head was bleeding. His head was not just a little bit bleeding, but it was bleeding. Like it was dripping down the side of his head. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to bring this guy 1.5 miles down the road to this park. So I did. Don't ask me why I did it, but I did it. Felt bad for the guy. And he was really super nice. And I didn't say anything about his head. And he was like, well, I'm going to have to go camping for a few days because my girlfriend's in jail. And I thought to myself, great. Cool, I don't really want to know anymore. And I'm quiet as a church mouse. He gets out of my car. He thanks me. He gives me a tip. He's on his way. So the next day, I go out to do some Uber. He then again requests a ride, and he has a very generic name. It was like Tim or John or something like that. I get so many generic names every day. I don't know who it is. And he's not at the park. He's at a coffee shop. So I pick him up again, and he's got gauze around his head, but his head's still bleeding. Okay, you can definitely see it's still bleeding. He's like, oh man, I had a rough night. I didn't sleep very well. I slept in that little tent. And I'm like, well, where are you headed? And he's like, I am going to go down the street to my apartment to see if, you know, my girlfriend's home. And on the way there, mind you, I'm still kind of figuring out, you know, where my place in Uber is at this point. He's like, well, this is the thing. I know my head's bleeding because I've been putting gauze on it, but I don't want to go to the ER because my girlfriend and I rolled my car, and she got arrested for a DUI. And at this time, I'm texting Jordan silently from the front on my car. You know, like my phone's stuck to my car. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to be in this car anymore. I'm kind of freaked out. Like, what do I do? And he's like, Amanda, get him out of your car. And I'm like, I don't want to, he's nice. I mean, he was not trying to do anything to me, you guys, at all. He was sweet. He was nice. He even offered to get me a water. When I picked him up, he's like, do you want a water? Like, it was hot. Okay. And I drop him off, and as I'm dropping him off, I'm like, dude, your head is severely bleeding, and I think you need to go to the ER. And he's like, well, I don't want to get arrested too, like my girlfriend, because we got in that accident and I ran. It's stuff like that that made me realize, damn, I got a little tougher skin than I thought. And I will tell you, I have been in rough situations. I have never been an alcoholic. I've never been a drug addict. I've never gambled. I've never done any of these things. But I have, in my homelessness, cheers that that's not happening again, hopefully. Cheers to never happening again, hopefully. Yeah, there we go. That's better. I've seen a lot of people. So I have a big heart. But at the same time, I'm a very guarded person. So I did end up reporting that I didn't want to pick him up ever again. I never saw him again. I don't know what happened to him, and man, I hope he's blessed out there, and he got back into his apartment, and he's got his keys, and things worked out for his girlfriend. Like, I hope all these things, but this is where the world is. This is also why I'm not sharing my kids with the world. It's a weird place. Yeah, isn't that crazy pants? Diane, that's what I'm talking about. That was during the daytime. This is the daytime. I'm like, I don't even know what's going on. So you gotta be careful. You just have to be careful. I had the craziest lady, you guys. If you saw my short, I had the craziest lady. She wanted me to go in her house to drop her groceries off in her house. I'm like, lady, listen, I don't know you. You open the door and basically start cussing me out. Get the effing groceries inside. Da, 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 da. It's like, lady, I am not your dog. And I am not going to go in your freaking house. Never going to happen. Won't do it. I don't care if you're 80 years old. I don't know who is behind that door. So I'm not going to go in. I'm not going to go in. Yeah, I don't go inside. Some crazy things. That's some crazy things. and honestly, I have such a stranger danger that, like, I'm just like, I don't trust anybody. Even if they seem kind of nice, like even that guy, he was nice. There was nothing wrong with him as far as his personality, and he was nice and sweet, but I sure in the hell don't want to pick him up again. I'll tell you that. I have had some funny moments too, where I picked up this group of older men. They were like in between 65 and 70, and they were going to this concert, and they were drunk as skunks, and they were laughing and giggling, and they were acting like they were 15, you guys, and I couldn't fit them all in my car, and they're like, let them sit in the bucket seat. And I was like, what's the bucket seat? And they're like, in the back. It was so funny. It was really cute. But they ended up, all squeezing in. We drove literally a mile down the road. They gave me a $60 tip that night. I picked them up later. In my area, I don't know what happens, but people just kind of go away. Uber drivers just go away. I picked up one guy 3 times in one day. And he's like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, that I had to pick you up? Why? Like, sorry that I need money. And I'm your only driver today. But, it is what it is, and at the end of the day, even if you work with people, which 99% of us do, there's not a lot of jobs out there where you're not working face-to-face with people of some sort, whether they be a coworker, a customer, maybe you're not face-to-face, but you're talking to them on the phone, or you're chatting with somebody, or you're emailing somebody. The world is weird. The world is weird. And that's just what it is. Everyone has been cool so far with me. Why are you sorry for more cash for you, right? I'm like, hey, it is what it is, man. I will say the funniest is when I pick up people I know. It's the funniest thing. I'm just like, huh. I will say I did have a weird incident where I picked up somebody I knew, and I guess it really wasn't weird. It was more of a sad thing. I worked with this gal. She was next to me in a cubicle when I worked at the call center for 5 years. Her husband was there for like 10 years, and they got a divorce. She had the kids, and when I picked her up, you guys, you could tell that she had been doing drugs. And I brought her from one city to another. And, you know, I sat next to this person for 5 years. And I asked her, I was like, you know, how you doing? You know, and knowing each other, and we're the same age, and, you know, her husband and I went to school together. It was a sad moment where I was like, man, you know, like this happens, you know? And it really made me look at life and think to myself, man, I am so darn lucky. I'm lucky that I have faith in myself. I'm lucky I am strong. I'm lucky that homelessness didn't get me to the fullest. A lot of people, when they become homeless like I did, long-term homelessness, and actually my therapist and I counted, it was 6 years in total. I'm very blessed and thankful. I dropped her off at a homeless camp, okay? And I knew that just wasn't her. And I was like, you know, it's sad. It's sad. And I'm lucky. I'm lucky to be here. I'm lucky I had my apartment. I am thankful to my previous landlord, whether she could have done better or not. I'm thankful for her because she rented to me. She took a chance. I'm thankful that I was able to buy this so that I can have a place to retreat to. This is my sanctuary. I pick up people who are on the dole all the time. All the freaking time. Hey Veronica, how's it going? But it's sad when it's somebody you know. I will say that. Hey, Life with Tea, how's it going? Does anybody have any questions for me while I'm here? Because I didn't really plan this. I'm just chit-chatty. I'm a chit-chatting away. Drinking my coffee, forgetting that, you know, Mr. Jordan has to get up here soon. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Everyone here, honestly, is super sweet. I will say the 2-year mark is coming up in 2 days. For YouTube. So let me know what kind of celebration do you think we should do? I've thought about doing not only the questions that people have been like eager to know, dying to know, but do I lease or finance my car? I finance my car. My car is on a loan, and my loan, hey, looky. My loan is at $13,774. That was with my extra payment. I started when I got my car, you guys. When I opened it up and I saw my total balance of $42,000, I think. $281. Hi, Ginger. Come here. You want to say hi to the people? Nope. The Violet does. Rob Violet. Is my insurance higher while driving my job? Absolutely. Hells yeah, it is. So, I don't know if I told you guys, and I think I did in the last video, but my insurance usually is around $255. I did up it because I do pick up people, so I wanted to insure while we have crazy stupid drivers, people out of the state, and we have younger people drinking and driving on the road, that I have that additional coverage. So I can change my insurance in the wintertime back down to what it was, because I doubt that I will be on the road as much as I am now. So that's the answer to that. I know that I signed up for that through my finance company. I would check your paperwork. When I financed my car, I wasn't doing gig work. So, but they do know that I do drive for a living. What has been my worst experience doing gig work? I would say it was when I did Instacart. I loved Instacart for the longest time. I will tell you guys, I can shop like this, I can shop like that, I'm great at grabbing and scanning, and you can even ask my husband. He's like, dang, he's like, if you had a scan gun, girl, shoot, you'd be like all over the place with that. My worst experience though was with Instacart. I dropped off some groceries to a gal I normally dropped off to, and she usually opened her garage and she's like, please bring the groceries to the table, and you know, I'll put them away. I put all my groceries away, and I noticed that she had less, okay, than I've ever delivered to her. And I delivered to her, I would say, consecutively every 2 to 5 days. And I know she had noticeably less. And I said, well, what's going on? And, you know, I usually get you some more stuff, you know? And she's like, well, my husband's in the hospital. And I was like, okay. And I was like, so does that mean you're eating at the hospital? She said, no, I'm not eating at the hospital. She's like, I can't really afford much, and I don't have a car anymore, so my daughter is the one that, she's the one that sent you the Instacart. I just give her the money. And I said, well, does your daughter know that you're getting this small amount of food? She's like, well, I told her I had more, but I really don't. But I don't want her to worry about me, because it's just me, and if my husband passes away, then I don't have to buy as much. And then the next time I delivered to her, you guys, she's like, this is going to be my last Instacart order. She's like, I'm going into assisted living, and I'm really kind of bummed about it. She's like, my husband passed away. And it was just absolutely heartbreaking. She cried. Okay? Like, she cried. So I'd say that's my saddest. I did end up giving her like a side hug, because I didn't really know her, but I delivered to her enough. And I worked in memory care. I did caregiving before I even had kids. That's what I wanted to do. Then my grandpa had dementia, and I realized, hey man, like, this is just I'm too emotionally attached for this. So by the time I was 22, I was done. I was done doing it. But it was sad. My second worst experience was when I was driving a guy on Uber 2 years ago. He was a young guy. He was like 23, 24, maybe. If maybe even 18, I don't know. So he was picked up at the airport, and he's like, I have to go directly to pick up this semi. He's like, it broke down, and that's what I'm here for. My boss sent me the address, and he gave me the address. Well, the address he gave me was not correct, because it was northwest, not southwest. We drove all the way out into the middle of nowhere, and this made me realize how much I really needed to be careful. Really needed to be careful. We made it out to the middle of nowhere. We parked the car. He gets out, starts looking around, and he starts losing his shit. Like, literally freaking out, screaming. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, do I lock the car and drive away? Because he's now out of the car and the ride is done. And then I realize he's just a kid, you know? I roll down my window. I got my doors locked at this point. And I'm like, hey man, are you okay? And he's crying. And he's on the phone with his boss. I mean, we're in the middle of nowhere, you guys. Nowhere. He's got his suitcase, his little carry-on bag, and he's like, I can't find the effing truck. Did somebody steal it? Like, I'm responsible for this. Like, I need to get this figured out. So as he's having a little mental breakdown in the outside of the car, I'm having a mental breakdown on the inside of the car, going, do I leave him here? I wouldn't want to be left there. I mean, obviously, we're in the middle of nowhere. All you see is literally grass, fence, and cows. And there is no farm near. There's nowhere for him to walk. It's hot. It's like 96 degrees, 95 degrees. And I roll my window up. He's talking to his boss. And I'm like, I'm gonna just offer. And he comes over to my window, knocks on my window, and you could just tell he's been sobbing. And he's like, I can't find this effing truck. And I'm like, yeah, well, it's definitely not here. And so he was like, I don't want to seem like a weirdo. Please don't think I'm weird. I've never been here before. I'm from all the way across the United States. I won't mention where he's from. But he's like, please, please, please don't leave me here. Begging me to not leave him there. He's like, I'll give you a big tip. So I'm like, do I leave him here or not? I'm like, go ahead and see if you can get another Uber. And I'm not letting him in. Because he's sitting on the side of the road with his face in his hands. And he's just a little guy. I mean, he's not a big dude. He's just a tiny guy. And I still, you know, I'm small, but I could beat him MF'er up, I'll tell you that. But you jumped in at the right time. Welcome. But he was like, please don't leave me here. And I'm like, okay, I won't leave you here. And I'm like, you can't get another Uber. He's like, my stuff's not working. He's showing me his phone. His hand is shaking. And he's like, I can't get another Uber. And so I tell him, I said, okay, well, get in the car. I said, what's the address? So we put in the right address. We make it next to the freaking Walmart, you guys, where the damn truck is. It's there. It's there. He's like, I'm making it, and he like literally almost like kisses the damn ground by the time we get out. And I think he thinks he's just fully responsible for this truck. And I said, hey man, I said, how long have you been working for this company, this trucking company? And he's like, I don't know, probably about like 2 months, but you know, my dad will kill me if I don't keep this job because it's really good paying. And I said, do you take anxiety medicine? And he's like, I should, huh? And I was like, yeah. I was like, I would highly suggest it, because I was like, I understand that you thought that this was gone, but you have to remember, these trucks are insured. He's like, I didn't think about that, you know? He ended up giving me an $80 tip, plus the ride. I was like, okay. But it was one of the worst. It was one of the worst, because it took a whole hour of my time, you guys. And I was like, oh my gosh. I've had other scary stuff happen, but I'll tell you this, if you think you're gonna act weird, if you're gonna act like a crazy person, if you're gonna scream at me, if you're gonna yell at me in my own car, you get the hell out of my car. Sorry. And I'm hella blunt about that, but get the hell out of my car. I can pull over, I can cancel the ride too. I'll get paid for that amount of distance, and I don't care if I get a tip, and I don't care if you complain to Uber, because my safety comes first, and you know what? I can make a safety complaint. There have been times where I go pick up somebody and they're belligerently drunk in the middle of the day. Like, I tried to pick up this dude the other day, drunker than a skunk, started, like, doing weird, like, sexual comments. I was like, nope. He's like, you're really not going to pick me up? I said, no. No, and he can't rate me. I haven't picked him up yet. I haven't slid the little thing saying I picked him up. I was like, bye, have a good day. I don't do that. Hello. I don't know who in the heck that person is. Fanboy? I don't know. Anyway. Yes, I am small but mighty, and I could be a scary person too. I could be scary. I could be scary if I wanted to. But you know what? I will say this, you guys. All in all, those were my two saddest, scariest moments of doing my job. For the most part, everybody is pretty darn happy. Do you think you will be doing a high heel savings? Oh, a high yield savings account? Okay, so here's something about high yield savings accounts that some of y'all may not know. I gotta go get my phone charger. Hold on, my phone's dying. My phone's dying. Hold on. I thought little Piggy was awake. He's not. He's still sleeping. I just bonked my head on the light. But he's still sleeping, guys. He looks so freaking cute while sleeping. You know when your kids are older, but they still sleep like they did when they were like babies? That's little Piggy. He's so cute. Anyway, why will I not open a high yield savings account? Because here's the thing. You got to keep the money in there to get the interest. But when you go to take the money out, let's say you put your money in a high yield savings account for 5 years for a car. If your car, or not your car, if your account, and this is what I didn't like, because I called Ally about this. So she's like, if you were saving for this car and you need $20,000, okay, we'll make it a high number. And she's like, the interest rate when you started the high yield savings account was 3.5%, right? So, if you were to take the money out and it's now 2.7% interest, there's no guarantee you're going to get that full amount, okay? Not only that, but you have to pay taxes on your savings accounts if you make over a certain amount a year. It's now called income. Yes, but you know, I mean, it's up to you. I don't want to do it right now. I'm not going to do it. I have a Roth IRA. That's more or less what I'm trying to invest in. Just because, you know, retirement, especially as my parents' age, has become scary. I'm going to go back through the comments. I had to get my computer. So, I mean, everything's scary with money. And I will say, the more you invest, the more likely you are going to lose. Another thing, too, is I've been looking into the different index funds I can invest in, but I don't know if I want to do that. I gotta go back to the question. Back to the questions! I do have gap insurance, by the way. I know Veronica asked that. Veronica, I do have gap insurance. I also have theft insurance. I also have what's called loan insurance. So that way, and that's why my car insurance is also so high. Number one, I have to have full coverage. Then I have my additional coverage. I also have roadside assistance, and I also have car rental. I think those were the only 2 questions. Am I missing a question? I don't know. I will say, you guys, I am a very kind-hearted human being. Now that I think I've talked about this, I've realized, you know, like, I have a big heart for people, and I'm not going to strand somebody on the side of the road. I have picked up people in weird situations, but I've also picked up a lot of people in normal situations. A lot of the people in our area that are locals have DUIs. There's a lot of alcoholism here. There's a brewery on every corner. I take a lot of people with DUIs to work. I take one of the nicest guys who works at a bakery to and from work most days, unless I'm, you know, like, he won't see me for a week because I have the kiddo with me. My other kids at camp. Cheers to those who just started watching and may or may not need to drink their coffee before their husbands get up. But I feel like I'm a kind-hearted person. I'm not going to strand somebody on the side of the road, like, and I'm not gonna judge this person because this person has a DUI. He's working, and he's nice, and he's made a mistake. And I feel like everybody in this world needs to have some sort of kindness. Okay? I was given kindness and judgment when I was homeless. I will say this, my landlord that I rented from, she was so sweet. I literally called her, and I left her 3 voicemails in a row because she had called me and she didn't call me back. And I'm like, please don't not rent to me. Please don't not rent to me. I'm trying my best. I'm just homeless, you know? Like, I just need a chance. And I left her a second voicemail. I'm like, this is what I've been doing. I've been doing Dave Ramsey, and I've paid off all my debt, and I know I still have an eviction, but I paid them too. Like, I only have my car payment. Like, please don't just rent me. Don't forget about me. Don't forget about my application. Called her again. Third day in a row. Please. Remember, I'm trying to get my life back together, and I made a mistake, you know, and I didn't pay my rent one time in my total of my adult life. I feel like I am that person for other people at times. I've had people Instagram message me, whatever, PM me, and I'm like, you know, I'm going to be as kind to you as humanly possible. I'm going to You didn't know there was going to be live today? No way. I didn't either. I didn't know. But going back to it, I didn't think that, you know, I could be that person for other people, but I definitely feel like I am. I had somebody message me, and I felt really bad, like, during the winter time. I was dragging my heels on making a video, right? And this gal messaged me, and she's like, Amanda, you didn't do week 2 of, you know, December yet. And I budget when you budget. Because I try to be pretty spot on my weeks. Lately I've been ahead of the game, but you know. She was like, hey, where you at? Sandwich money. Welcome. Todd. Alright, so that's all I got today. If you missed the live, I'm sorry. Go back, watch, listen. Gig working is not scary, just so you are aware. If you are doing DoorDash, Uber, Lyft, Instacart, Grubhub, just remember we're all having a hard time hustling out there. If your market is still slow, it's okay. It's not going to be like it was during the pandemic. I made really good money in the pandemic, I will say. I wish I could go back to that, but it's not going to be like that, okay? If you are looking for a side hustle like that, please message me on Instagram. I will send you a link like I did to Diane, and you could get a bonus, I could get a bonus, and we could all do the thing, you know. So do what you can with what you got, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys. Now I gotta figure out how to end this without unplugging my phone. Okay. I can do this. End. Oh, come on, phone. Be nice.